get on here. I'm waiting on this notification that tells me I'm on live.
I see it. I see live at 8 seconds already.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting on it to show up on my page. Technology is not perfect, my man.
Gotcha.
Welcome to show business.
Gotcha.
And there we go. All right.
Yep.
Welcome to show business. And there we go. It's in a watch party. Yep. Welcome to show business. There we go. It's in a watch party. Yeah, that's because I'm on my phone. And then I got. Yeah, that's because I'm on my phone. I'm setting y'all up good. And then I got. If I can spell. I'm setting y'all up good. And then I'll send a link to y'all inbox. If I can find it. And then I'll send a link to y'all. Be careful with me. All right, just sent the link to y'all things, my brother. Then I'm gonna tag you guys in now. All right, post. If I can get it right. Y'all got it?
Hard gone.
You should have it, Chris.
You send a link to what now?
I sent a link to the podcast. It is right here.
I think I just posted it now. You send the link through the message?
Yeah, you shared it.
I shared it.
Yeah. Waiting on Mario to come back. Let's get it.
All right.
It only let me don't worry about it.
Well, I tagged in, Jack.
I was
So making sure that I take care of all of this. Because I just went to that, and then I go to Twitter. So you always got to be fast with Twitter and whatnot. That's where all my followers are. Hey, but good morning. This is the notorious Horace Towns, known as Tootie in my city. And it's early in the morning. I'm usually not up this late. But my cast of friends, I really want to give a disclaimer this morning to my mother, Bishop Wright. Chris is the one that decided to have this podcast at 11 a.m. that caused me to miss church this morning. So that's just what happened. That's what's going on the record. Second of all, people always ask me more about me. What's the components that made me who I am, why I'm this way and why I'm that way? Well, first off, I thought it was a brilliant idea. Many people also said me to bring on the people that have shaped me. These are my brothers. We have been together probably going on 25 years or more. We took trips. We've resided together. And I don't know what else to go from there. I don't know what Chris is cracking peanuts or something.
I'm not doing anything.
Oh, it's King Mario. Well, to the people out there, we're waiting on one more person to join, who I will call the number one stunner. Are you situated, Mario?
Yeah, I should be. No, I ain't even. I'm good now.
Okay, ready. Listen. I want to describe these people as. I can hear echoing.
Shout out to Cat Carter, who just said hello.
Yeah, but what is the noise coming from?
I have no idea.
Like there's a lot of noise. Okay, it went away somewhat. Hey, listen. Maybe it's your fan, Chris.
My fan?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hearing a lot of feedback. Let me see who it's coming from. It ain't me. No. I ain't Chris. It's Mario. What is your mic?
I don't know. You got it. So,
All right, good. Well, that's better. We're gonna go with that.
Well, asks where can he tune in?
Did he hit the link?
I'm gonna tag him.
Yeah. It's public and it's live. And
I
I'm
don't
waiting
know
on
how you
Hardy.
stopped. I don't know how you stopped it. It wasn't doing it before.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's your you got your phone or your thing?
Yeah.
Are you broadcasting from your phone?
Say it again.
Are you broadcasting from your phone?
Yeah.
You got do you have two phones near your phone?
No. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on.
Well, Chris, while we have these audio difficulties from Mario,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I see some out. Listen, it only made sense for me to bring on the people that have really caused such influence in my life. Chris, when you're around, you are the person that makes me look like the good child.
Okay. I
While we,
accept that.
I want to describe Chris as the brother that is known as the date doctor. He is the date doctor. However, he does not go on any dates.
Not true.
He's a serial dater. He's the person that gives
That,
us all the relationship advice.
not exactly. I give dating advice. I'm not in a relationship, so I don't know. I only give dating advice.
Well, we're waiting on Tech Riley here.
I don't know.
Okay, good. Listen. Again, the gist of the show is I wanted to bring you guys on as we wait for Xavier to come on. Mario is the person in the group who is the wise one, kind of old soul. He's the person that we go to for advice. He's kind of the mediator out of the group. He's the only one in the group that's married, and people tend to respect what he has to say, as compared to Chris above, who gives you dating advice that some will feel that is very crass. He definitely guided me through my marriage and gave me all kind of beneficial lessons that I reflect on now. He's the only guy that told me told me when I was getting married, said, "Why are you doing this to me and my wife?" And makes a mockery out of marriage altogether. So
Absolutely not. And I think that Demario can attest to this. I do not make a mockery out of marriage. I make a mockery out of bad marriages, like yours were.
what? Listen, I learned a valuable lesson inside this relationships that we were taught wrong and that marriage is 100-100. People told us that it's 50-50, and that is absolutely wrong. It's 100-100 because it takes a whole lot of everything to be there. There's going to be some awesome days. There's going to be some really, really bad days. There's going to be some days where you really say, why I'm here and I can do bad by myself, right? It takes friends like Mario to come on and say, hey, man, got to look at it from this perspective, and you got to think about this. Chris, that is not what you do. Chris, you say, why do you do it?
Well,
I think,
I want to. Okay, go on, Mario.
well, I think that a lot of time a visual representation of what marriage is for black men has been kind of misrepresented misrepresented from men. Okay, so I feel like Chris don't have a problem with the institution of marriage as it was meant to be. I think his problem is what it has turned into be, and everybody acting like that's okay.
Yeah, I think that people don't take the seriousness of marriage in its totality. I'm under the
Right.
impression that there's no such thing as divorce when it comes to marriage. I don't understand that. I think that if we all about divorce. If divorce was the at the forefront, then it would pause a lot of marriages. Because if we thought that there's no way of getting out of this, then it would pause a lot of marriages. Again, I'm not married. I'm not in a relationship, so I don't want to talk about things that I don't know. What I talk about is dating. I think that's the fundamental component of both relationships and marriage. And Tamara can attest to this also. In construction, the thing that takes the longest time is the foundation. The reason why it takes the longest time is simply because if it's incorrect, then whatever you build on top of it is going to also be incorrect. It's going to fall. It's destined to it. So the foundations of what I believe in dating, it starts with dating. So what I say about my principles of dating is simply we date for respect and cooperation. Not a lot of people get things mixed up where they date for love and submissiveness. I don't believe in those two. Not that I don't believe in love. I just believe that that's secondary to respect and cooperation. And when I say that, people look at it, and since we had this fixation on love, and they look down on that. Now, my example to that is this: none of us have a patent on love. None of us. At the same time, for example, Tanya Hardin loved that man. It cost him his dick at the end of the day. So I believe that. I also, what's that?
That's Lorena Bobbitt.
Well, Lorena Bobbitt, my bad. I'm sorry, I got my facts incorrect. I think Lorena Bobbitt loved that man. It cost him his dick at the end of the day. I believe that, and nobody can tell Lorena Bobbitt that she didn't love him. I believe that Chris Brown loved Rihanna. It cost her public ass whooping, because of his love for her. And I think what we do is, that's what I'm trying to get to. We go into retrospect and say, oh well, that wasn't love. You could not tell that man that he wasn't in love with her at that time. So we don't have a patent on love. What I think we need to do was the best idea is to put that secondary to respect and cooperation. Because if you respect the person, there's a limit of things that you will not do to them. When you love somebody emotionally, there's no limit to what you would possibly do to that person if you feel hurt or you feel any kind of thing that triggers your emotion. Respect, on the other hand, keeps you. There's a limit of stuff that you will do. I also talk about submissiveness. I think if a woman is submissive, then she is not at her full expectancy. She can't. Her thoughts. You're not listening to her thoughts. She subdues her thoughts. Her full potential is not given to you when she's being submissive. You need to look for cooperation. If she's cooperative with you, that means she's willing to go with your plan instead of being submissive to saying, whatever your plan is, I'm just going to sit back and just say, I'm good with that. Now, again, I don't know about relationships because I'm not in one over a decade, and I don't know about marriages because I've never been married. So I would have to go with DeMario when it comes to marriages. If you want to talk about failed marriages, you go to Horace Towns. He can school you on. He can school you on that because he obliterated his. His was a mockery. So go on. I digress.
Mario, what a piece of work.
I think a key. I haven't been married that long, but I say this. And, when I started contemplating getting married, I researched a lot to make sure, because like Chris, I do understand, and I feel like marriage is forever. I feel like you go before God. Supposedly God sent you this person that's your other helpmate that's supposed to be on your purpose-driven journey to get you to where he needs you to be to fulfill a purpose that he has for both of y'all. It's deeper than love. I believe you have an assignment. So I believe you find a person who can help you get to this assignment and to complete it for God, because I am a God-driven person. So God defines my love. I think first off, we gotta always say when you have a different person who you succeed to, you gotta understand how do you define love? Because I define my love through Jesus dying for me through that point of love. So if I understand that love, I subscribe to the Bible. So most of my rules and regulations and my thoughts don't come from the Bible. That's me. So when I started thinking about love, I said, well, okay, I agree with Chris. Love is fueled off emotion. So
Completely.
I know a lot of people who was in love who had horrible marriage, and I believe they love that person. So I had to say, yeah, I have to find some way to stay with this person and understand what work can I do. So let me stop looking at her and start focusing on what can I do as a man to make sure that when I'm just not saying I'm the head, that I'm also leading in every aspect that I can that God gave me. So I said, first of all, I have to check what do I see wrong in myself, because that's the baggage that I'm bringing into this union. So I had to say, well, over the years, it's been pretty easy for me to get women. So for I have obtained a sense of entitlement and selfishness. Selfishness, as in, if you don't want to do it my way, I can just go get another woman. Uh, I want to do it this way, and I don't care. I'm a good man. There's a whole bunch of horrible dudes out here. So if you lose me, you lost. So those thought processes, I had to say, would it trigger reactions? Although they are true, it trigger reactions, which is unfair to a person who I suspect is giving me their all. So I said, first I gotta learn how to compromise. So compromise, I think, in marriage, you get overlooked a lot. And compromise is one of the biggest things because you're gonna have to find a medium to coexist with anybody. Chris know this too. We all had roommates, and compromise is a big part of cohabitation with somebody. But imagine that for life. So I had to start chiseling away at all my flaws first before I even look at us. I had to look at me. Now I think a lot of times people don't want to go up under the veil and actually look at themselves and say, "Man, I'm pretty messed up." I know society tells me I'm great, but me as a man, I'm pretty messed up. So I had to say, okay, I've been selfish to a lot of women. I've been entitled to a lot of women.
Yeah.
Like Chris, I haven't respected a lot of people, a lot of
Yeah.
women. So I had to say, you know what? I need to be more respectful because I need to think about her and all my actions or how this is going to make the situation look. I need to compromise and say every time I don't have to get my way, and then understand it's my way the right way. Because if I trust this person to be my partner for life, that means that her way, God might be talking to her also and giving direction too to get to me. So it's just not my way. And then I think once you start working on those things and have an open line of communication, because that's a must, an open line of communication, and understand your strong points in a relationship. Because I am a talker. I don't mind telling you how I feel at any point in time. I want you to know. My wife is not. So a lot of times in the first part of our relationship, I used to get frustrated because I used to be like, just tell me how you feel. But that's not her. So I had to say, instead of getting mad at her, let me find ways for me to make her feel comfortable or to get out of her how she feels. Because the objective is for us to get past this problem. It's not to create more problems. And
Well,
that's just a good part of what I think.
well, Mario, let's be straight. Well, let's be honest. Chris will never get married. If he does, I will pay for the wedding if Chris gets married.
I got faith on him.
It would not be a wedding like that. It would not be a traditional wedding for one.
Listen, well, Mario's wedding was pretty goddamn dope. Expectations. Let me say one thing. My expectation going into marriage was maybe unfair to me because until now, I know Mario and I got two older friends that have been married 30 years. I didn't know of any successful marriages. Every dude I know acted like he hated being married. He was like, man, I should have never got married. So that's one thing. Second of all, reciprocity was a big thing. You know, like I said in the beginning, it has to be 100, 100 because unlike what Chris said, I love marriage. I miss it every moment, you know, the intimacy of it. But, you know, with your expectations, what you're expecting to receive. And if you feel like you're giving this and you're not receiving that, you're not even going to be able to function after a while. So the more you tolerate it, it gets to a point where you're not even in it anymore because you feel like you're doing all the work. You know what I mean? So you definitely have to be intentional on no matter what, this is where I'm going to be. Second of all, you got to make sure that y'all both discuss expectations and leave no questions unturned. Just don't assume that y'all both are Democrat, Republican. Don't assume that y'all both are Christian. Don't assume anything because later on, there are going to be some big decisions. You know, I've had a friend who just, hey, he told a girl he didn't want a baby, and then she got pregnant, and he's like, we said we weren't gonna have it. She had to change her heart. He don't even want to be with her no more, but he might as well buckle up because you got 18 years of a new child. Second dude, someone we know last night said, one of our friends said, he texted me and said his girlfriend said, what are your, she asked me, he said, my old lady asked me a question. She said, what are my long-term and short-term goals? And he was like, why she asking me that? I said, if you don't know, she about to leave you.
Mm. Well, what I say is this: I think at some point we have gotten to the point where females have more nuts than us. We have more nuts than we do. They're willing to leave us if they're not getting exactly what they want. But we, on the other hand, say, well, I don't want to lose her, so I'll submit to this thing. And what I'm saying is, I believe that marriage, the little that I know about it, should be your choice, no matter what. The reason why I was more supportive and more inspired by DeMario's marriage was because when I talked to him, it seems more like it was his decision, not something that he was forced into, or something that they had to pull his leg to do, or he was given a ultimatum or whatever. And I believe that that's come from a mindset. If your mindset is I would never find another girl like her, then you're destined for destruction on there. Because what I would ask you is this: if you tell me that you think you never find another girl like her, I would ask you this: how did you get her? Did you climb Mount fucking Everest to get her? Did you slay 12 dragons to get her? Or did you say hello at aisle 6 on Publix? Or did you swipe right on Tinder? Or did you inbox her on Facebook? You didn't go through this huge amount of mountain climbing to get her. So what makes you think that you won't be able to get another one of her when all you did was say hello in Publix to get that one? You know what I'm saying?
I
At the end of the day. Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. I want to ask y'all a question. Someone asked, does marriage always have to be the goal? Do you believe you can reach the same level of commitment and intimacy without the institution of marriage?
Yeah, That's why I said you have to define your term of love. I subscribe to the Bible. So for me, the institution of marriage is a man and a woman with a union with God. So that's what I do. But if you don't believe in that, I believe it's your actions that keep a union together. Because a marriage, whether you call it a marriage, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, partners, whatever you want to call it, it's the level of commitment, like Chris said, compromise, and loyalty that you show and respect that you show to that person. I think that's what create bond and long lasting. I got a question though for y'all. I want to know, what do y'all think that marriage you should put in equal as your partner?
What we said a word. We said first.
No, I want to ask you that anyway, because Chris, you said for a long time you didn't see the purpose of being married for a man.
Well, I think I like to look at marriage and relationships and things like that as business. Is it a good business deal? What do you get for your investment? What's your ROI on your investment? We got to be honest about certain things. The marriage in itself, the legal document of being married, is not in the favor of men. That's just the truth. So if you enter into this document, you have to understand that. That's why I say put love secondary to respect and cooperation, because love, if you put love first, you're entering into a business deal in an emotional state, and those two should be totally separate. So yeah, we talked about reciprocity. I would rather, I don't want equal, because that's like saying I give you $20, you give me $20. I believe in reciprocity, and I may not have the legal definition of this, but when I look at reciprocity, I mean, okay, well, I give you $20, and you give me something of value to me that's worth my $20. It doesn't have to be identical; it just has to be reciprocal to me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think we should ever. Mm-hmm.
See, that's the key, and I think people don't. That's the point I'm trying to make. I don't think people understand what they don't spend enough time trying to find out what they make value. Because right now, I might not value money, so I might not care about you buying me some more shoes, or because you love me. I might not care about you buying me a new car. I might actually care about you coming home and asking me how I feel and rubbing my head. So a lot of times people don't, you're on two different pages. And I think that's what it is. Because you be like, well, he paid the bills and I do this. We go half on this. We do this. Yeah, he bought me this. I bought me this. But he's still hurting.
Yeah.
Or he still feel lonely. And then you feel like you're giving all to him. But he don't need you to give me that. Like, I know some women out here who don't need you to give them money. They don't need you to take care of their house. They don't need you that. They need you to be there to feel safe. To remind them that they're beautiful.
That's Atlanta.
Like, stuff like that.
That's Atlanta for
and
sure.
That's the thing. And that's the thing. Like at the end of the day, we have to stop setting value in our wallet. That is not your value. A lot of men feel like that's their value. That's not your value. Your value is your ability to lead, protect, strategize, and do all these other things. Money is a form of who has the better job or who has the more resources or whatever. Money is fake. Let's just keep it real. Right. Money is it's not money, it's a currency. So it has to continue to move to gain stuff. So if you equate your worth with the amount in your wallet, that says, and then the women that you attract from that says more about the women than it actually says about you. You need to focus on your ability to protect, your ability to strategize, and your ability to lead. Every the idea that you have is not going to be successful. A lot of people say, human wise, we fail more than we succeed, but we learn more in our failure. So if you're trying to get into a situation where you think that every single the decision that you make is going to be perfect and you're going to be correct on it, I believe that's negligent. What you need to be able to do is, if you make a bad decision, learn from that bad decision and continue to be able to lead and be unwavering. Because at the end of the day, even if you make a bad decision, if that woman sees you unmoved by it and continue to press on, that's leadership. That has nothing to fucking do with your wallet at all. That has nothing to do with your wallet. So I believe that we need to stop equating our value with the amount of bills that we can possibly pay. Because what we need to do is cohabitate with two self-sufficient adults. That's what we need to cohabitate with. If you're going into a situation saying, I'm just going to pay all these bills because it makes my dick hard, that has nothing to do with it. You're better off in any kind of partnership with a self-sufficient person. You're better off with that. Doesn't make any sense.
I think a lot of people get confused with the word provide. Well, they say they want to be a provider, protector, but provide don't only mean financial. It could be providing love, providing safety, providing a soundness, providing loyalty. It's a lot of people out in dealing with women over the years. I think a lot of times we understand that our system of black family has been broke up so many years ago. So in dealing with a lot of women, and this helped me raise my daughter, because I seen that a lot of them went through a disconnection with their father. So their perception of how a man loves a woman was skewed. So in me learning that, it made me take a step further on my daughter. Like not only telling her to get good grades in school or don't get on the stripper pole, but me trying to teach her how to love a man. Like trying to teach her, like, you know what I'm saying? It's okay I want you to be strong, but I don't want you to be a man. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and I think that I don't think a lot of times us as black fathers teach our little girls that. We teach them stuff that's gonna hurt them in the future, as do black women teach their sons. They teach them, you don't need no girl, don't be running behind the hoochies. But then we teach our girls, you don't need nothing from a man. You don't have to do nothing, get it for yourself. So then they become very they daddy, they superhero told them that. So then a man come who is willing to lay his life on the line for her, be her protector, be her love her completely, raise a family with her, be committed to her. But she feel like Chris said, well, I don't need nothing from a man. So a man who ain't got more than me, he can't do nothing for me. Then it's like a trigger because you put your wealth on providing instead of understanding what this man is going to represent for you. He's going to represent for you a solid foundation to raise another generation. And I think sometimes, I'm gonna say me, I had to catch myself and start telling my daughter, nah, this is what a man's supposed to do. Because I'm a man. So what better version to her to hear what a man is from a man that loves her unconditionally. And I'm not running no game on my daughter. So I'm telling you, as a man, this is what I feel is my job. And this is what a man's supposed to do as in your daddy's eyes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And not just say, stay away from boys.
Yeah, that we do that, and I think that we put more paranoia in women. What I say is, it brings me back to a thought, a post that I seen of a video a long time ago. Well, not recently. I say, it was about a guy, a dude. He's boasting about, I got X amount of children. I got a wife, and they don't have to do anything. I pay all the bills. I do everything like that. I do all these things. And he felt proud about that, and I don't hate on that, but but the advice that he gave to his daughter, and I'm a father of a daughter also, but the advice that he gave to his daughter, if a man can't do that for you, then you don't need him. Now, the danger in that is for me is this. The danger in that is for me is this. That means he's equating that money. The ability to pay bills is synonymous with great moral character, which historically that is untrue. If you think that the dudes with the most money has the most moral character, you are losing your mind. So what she's gonna say, growing up, she's gonna say, well, my daddy said if he can't pay all these bills, that I don't want him. So she's gonna find out a man that can do that. 9 times out of 10, a man that can do that is not a man of high moral standard. Let's just keep it real. Now, at the end, so what I'm saying is this: what I want to teach my daughter is, what do you want in a relationship? What do you want in a man? Well, then you need to be reciprocal of that. Simple as that. If you want this great man, you gotta look at yourself and say, hey, am I great? Because you can't say to this man, I'm not gonna follow you until you unless you know how to lead. That's implying that you don't know how to lead. So if you don't know how to lead, there's no possible fucking way that you can architect someone else that knows how to lead. You have no idea. If that's what you actually said, then you have no idea on how to lead. So you can't tell that man that he doesn't know how to lead. You have no idea about it. So I think that those things are problematic. We need to be, especially as brothers and sisters, we need the two strongest people. Just like when we were slaves, they tried to get the two strongest slaves and and make them two to create stronger slaves. We need to take that same vision in relationships nowadays. We need to take two strong people, get them together, and create stronger people. It just makes perfect sense. So if you're gonna be dating, why is you wasting your time dating a woman that's looking for you to do all this stuff for her, and all she does in return is look good and give you something, give you a cold body to stick your winter in at night? That makes no sense.
Chris,
and it's actually kind of productive.
I'm reeling Chris back. Chris, I'm reeling you back in because dating wise, a lot of people ain't gonna have the happy storybook ending that Mario got, right? That's not gonna happen. Well, Mario is a unique.
He doesn't have an ending yet. He's just have a beginning. He hasn't ended yet. That's the problem that we have. We think that's the ending.
And Chris had before you go to that Tootie, when we was gonna get married, Chris sat down and asked me a lot of questions. I do that. I do say that because all y'all really ask me, as brothers, am I ready? Why? But it was funny to me because I always used to tell Chris, I was always optimistic about him being in love and all that kind of stuff like that. Like, yeah, blah, blah, but we all know Chris is a serial dater. So, you know what I'm saying? So he really don't, he ain't with it unless it's, on his planet. So I said he was asking me more questions about marriage than any one of my homeboys. He had asked me more questions about marriage that week, prior weeks. Every time I talked to him, I could be talking about him about some business stuff, about investments or something like that, and he'll bring up marriage. And I was like, he always understanding of that. He is asking me because he want to know, and he just don't, you know what I'm saying? He actually cares about it. So that's why I never say that he don't care about marriage or don't want it, because I understand you care because you're inquisitive about it. Two things, he asked me a question and said, how do I know that I was ready to get married? And I was like, bro, I want, one thing he said that I agree with, I wanted this. Like, my wife's name is Jaleesa. She didn't pressure me. She didn't make me. This is something I wanted to do. So so in my head, once I said I want her to be my wife, I start working on me to be the best husband I could be. That's what I start doing in my head. Then I start learning her. So I think a lot of times people be like you said, the nuts part. I ain't want to just walk over that. A lot of times, a lot of dudes get married because they feel like if I don't, my circumstances won't be the same. When I never felt that. I felt like I'm self-sufficient on my own. Like I could achieve whatever I want on my own. So I got with another person who was equally minded. She felt like, hey, I can achieve, but we actually want each other. So let's go up. And I think that's the key to me. And I just got married, so it's not like I'm no marriage guru, but I'm just saying that was our decision.
That was definitely my ideology when I got married. So I came up with the premise.
You was married? When you were married? Oh, my bad.
Yeah, man.
Sorry.
Listen, Chris, we stayed together. You had a lot of questions. I gave up my starting five for one. I took a chance on the draft pick, a diaper dandy. Sometimes the draft picks don't pan out. Listen, I won't complain about my marriage. I won't complain about my marriage at all. But I will say this. Let's tell the truth on Chris. Chris is like that now, but Chris used to be Hitch. That's a good analogy. Like the movie Hitch, Chris used to be the guy that walk the girl down the hall, hold hands, write poems, send flowers, give her the teddy bears, and then somewhere down the road, JT Money appears. Please.
Can I interject? A lot of people, a lot of times you guys, which I love you guys, I love you guys because you guys know me when I was a teenager, a fucking teenager. You guys want to place a period of my life. You guys want to place a period of my life and try to make it the whole entire life. I am close to 40 years old right now. You're talking about the time when I was a teenager. You're talking about the time where I didn't have to pay bills. You're talking about the time that I didn't have to struggle on my own. You're talking about the time that I didn't have to have negative connotations and sell drugs and do all other things to survive. So the mindset is a tad bit different when you was a grown man. When you was a grown man, if you asking me, yes, at the time that you're talking about, yes, a little bit more of a Casanova. But you know what? Saying I did not create. Nice guys finish last. I didn't create that, and the fact that I didn't create it and it's still going on now. It's because it has validity to it. That form is not sufficient. That form is not sufficient. The form that you need to worry about is on your masculinity and your ability to lead, not your ability to be a fucking Casanova. That's cute, and that's going to get you a certain level. But your ability to navigate your masculinity and your ability to lead is far more helpful to you as a man than your ability to bring a fucking rose and write a card and write a poem. That's just the truth. So I'm sorry, I'm not 15-year-old Chris Tootie. My bad. I just
Hey.
it happened to be fucking 20-some years later. My bad.
You used to wear bow ties too. You were a sweeter guy. You were a sweeter guy back then, and just out of nowhere, you just turned into this angry lover. You know, you just the chick man, but you're just angry all the time. I don't get it.
At all, but I appreciate the chick magnet compliment.
Listen, so back to like I said, we've all the forum, 34th Street, man. We've had some epic conversations on 34. We've had some epic moments on now, and like I said, the gist of the day was somebody kept asking me about my friends, and you know we all private, but there's nobody like this cast of characters here. Stormy Norman is somewhere being Stormy Norman. You got Zay who just pulled a stunt. We asked him to be online for 1 hour, and we call this Claude. He on the beach walking. You had one fucking job, man. One fucking job.
Mm-hmm.
So, but overall, Chris, I'm going back to you because you tease me the most, right? You tease me the most because you have some extreme thoughts on dating. Is it worth dating out here right now? You the date doctor.
And that's the thing. Like we can't take the same approach that we see with some of our female counterparts. We can't do that. We have to understand that we never can lose faith in the women that our women. We just can't. We can never lose faith in dating. We can never lose faith in being in relationships, or we can never lose faith in marriages. We can't continue to put on that women ain't crap and and posting crap like that. That's a waste of time. Do I think that we should be truthful? Yes. But the whole is it worth dating? Yes, it's worth dating. A woman is. I don't know much about the Bible. I don't know much about religion like that. I'm open about that. But what I said was this. What I said is this. The little that I know is God created everything in the world. This is coming from the Bible. God created everything in the world. Then He created a man, and then that wasn't enough. He gave man every fucking thing in the world, and it wasn't enough. He said, okay, well, you know what? Let me give you this. And that's when man was like, you know what? Out of all this other shit that you gave me, this is the best thing. This is good right here. So we should never ever lose faith in that. What I'm saying is, my only suggestion is, when you are dating, date for respect and cooperation. That's it. That's all I'm saying. If you're taking out a woman that possibly taken out a woman that doesn't call you, that doesn't want to put any investment into the whole dating process. That's stupid. I'm saying you're dating you going on your first date and you're taking the chick to Ruth Chris Steakhouse. Mm-hmm. You don't even fucking know her. You don't know her.
I agree. I agree with that, and I'm gonna say this too. As men, we do that.
I got to charge my phone.
Mm-hmm. We do that as men, but women do that too. Like right now, you know how many times I hear a woman say, "Yeah, man, you got any friends? Ain't no good men out here." But then I personally know they know 3 good men, but they keep walking past them. They keep walking past them.
Because he don't ideally look like he's supposed to.
Right, because you don't want a good man. You don't want. The second thing I ask a woman is, what is a good man to you then? Because maybe my definition of a good man and your definition of a good man are 2 different things. Because people have this broad brush and say, I want a good man. And to me, I know a lot of good men. But to women, they can't find them. And I'm looking at, and some of these women know half the people I know. So I'm starting to think that what a man see his fellow brothers as a good man, and when a woman see a man as a good man, we on 2 different whole pages here. Because I got a lot of homeboys who are good men by my standard, by the word standard, by what I think a good man is. That's how I feel. So when I hear women that I know who know them say, I don't know no good man, it's like, what the hell? Yeah, we on the same earth.
But listen, I want to say this. I challenge this all the time. I say, and men are kind of guilty, but it's mostly women. It is the image. They keep trying to, it's a look, an image from they had since childhood that they're trying to find the guy they dreams by looking at him. So most of the time, it's this dude, she's attracted to him, and that's what pulls her in. Then she evaluates who he is in character. There's a lot of good men. He might not ideally look like you that image that you have in your mind, but there's a lot of good dudes out here. And I think there's a lot of people with this long list saying, oh, this is what I'm looking for, and they don't even make their own list. So I see a lot of chicks that Chris used to tell me something. And this is Chris's quote, everybody. Chris said, the woman who says she don't need a man, I hope God, what was the quote?
She never did. If a woman says that she doesn't need a man, I hope that God make it that she never have one. Because she wouldn't say that about a car. She wouldn't say that about AC. And if a man is not valuable enough as a fucking car, a job, or AC, then you shouldn't have one. Period. Point blank and simple. That's how I feel about that. Also, I want to talk about. I want to touch on the good thing. Like, I try to stay away from saying I'm a good man. Maybe because it may be incorrect, but I want to stay away from it because I think that's suggestive to different people. Because what I've seen in my life is this. It's one thing I have never, ever in my whole entire life heard was a woman say she's a bad woman or have bad cooch. Never in my life. I've never heard those things. I've never heard a woman say she is a bad woman or have bad cooch. So according to all women, they all are good and all have good cooch. So at the same time, with that being said, if there's no sense of accountability. What I heard DeMario talked about earlier was when he decided to get married, he decided to reevaluate himself or take personal inventory. That means at some point he said he didn't come in there into Mario Corp or Mario Corporation and said, man, everything in this motherfucker good. I'm perfect. But he went in there and said, oh damn, this company needs some help. This company needs some reevaluating. This company needs restructuring. He didn't go into the company saying Mario Corp is perfect. So I think what men struggle with is responsibility, and what women struggle with is accountability. We have to be accountable and not be so quick to say I'm a good man or I'm a good woman. We need to constantly be saying that we are trying to be better men and better women. Because when you say you're good, that means the job is over.
I think perspective-wise, I think you can feel like you're a good man and be striving to be better. Like right now, that's what I say. I believe this too. Like, just like beauty, everything is in the eye of the beholder. That's why I say, when I'm saying good man, I feel like this. To almost piggyback on what Tootie was saying, I think most women are looking for a good-looking man, not a good moral man. Because the morals come second. I think they're looking for like
something to define themselves with.
Of something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're saying, like right now, if you ask me what's good, what is, everybody gonna have the definition of what's good. Well, what do I feel like a man should be? So in my head, I feel like right now I could be a lot better, but I've attained the level of I'm pretty good at running a household and being a man. I definitely can be better. So when a woman asks me, am I a good man? To my standards, yeah. Am I the best? No. Can I be better? Yeah. But I'm a good man because the stuff that I feel like I need to work on my life to make me to the level of good, because good is here to me. Better, but I still got so much to go. But I do believe I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm not a good man. Right now, if you ask me, I can say Chris is a good man to me, and I can give you a list of things. That's my point. To me, I can say the same thing about Tootie, Zay, Norman, Jay. I'm talking about I can go down the list of people who I know and say why they're a good man. You're right. You might get nitpicky at little stuff like this, but I'm guaranteeing that when I add up my list of why I think it is, I have a valid reason for me to say this. I'm just not blowing smoke. You know what I'm saying? Of somebody but by saying, no, this is a good dude. Because somebody who I might say not good, you might think is good. But that's my perspective. So then the person who asking me this question 9 out of 10 times asking me for my perspective. I'm not no judge and jury in the world, but you just asking me to give a perspective of, do I know any good men? So I'm telling you names of good people according to my qualifications. Because that's what you asked me.
Harder.
Yeah.
Well, listen, your perspective, because like I say, you always look at things from a different perspective. First of all, I've never had a bad relationship. I've left all of them, right? Second, I didn't have that kind of. Hey, look, I take pride in it. I didn't have that outlet, right? So when you say you looked upon yourself, I might not have did it to your extent. You know, I'm thinking it's a blueprint. Hey, we've been together this long. It's a progression. Get married, and we'll continue to work things through. This person is a powerhouse. I'm a powerhouse, and it made sense on paper. But there's a lot of things.
You see the check.
Do you see this lavish lifestyle I'm living here? Okay. Listen.
Okay.
But everybody in my family, my brothers, my uncles, they just got married. So that blueprint that's in front of you, that's what you follow. Coming out of school, all my uncles graduated, got a job, got married, and just lived their life. Whether they're happy or not, it doesn't matter. That was their blueprint that they set for me. So when you say you went on and you started to take that evaluation of yourself, I didn't do that. I just knew, hell, this person is this, I'm that. Together, we should come together and be a powerhouse, a Will and Jada type scenario, right? But there's a lot of stuff that we never tackled because you have to know the person. There could be stuff from their childhood. There can be stuff that you've done. Like me, there's a lot of stuff I'm used to. Just this is the way I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Without apologizing. And if you continue that path, that's also being dragged along the relationship. For you didn't got weighted down. So there was things I learned that I didn't know before. You learn because when you get married, it's still a lesson. Don't think it's just gonna be all peaches and cream. But again, I didn't know anybody. I had people that my wife would say, "Oh, that's a good married couple that we can hang around and kind of, And then I talked to the dude to the side. He's like, "Man, I hate this motherfucker."
See, but I want to say that this. And when I was in St. Martin, shout out to Hardy for giving me the opportunity to leave the country. I'm international Chris now. But when we was talking about it, he was saying, "Damn, what was I trying to get at? What did you just say, Tudor?"
What?
Because I was gonna pin it back off what you just said.
Well, I was saying I didn't have a blueprint. He did that self-evaluation.
But yeah, that's what I was saying. Me on the other hand, I had a blueprint. I'm surrounded by marriage. Surrounded by it. I got most of my homeboys were married, so I'm surrounded by it. I don't have a father or nothing like that, and my uncles are distant from. I love them to death, but they're pretty distant. So I don't have a blueprint of marriage. So I look upon my homeboys and their situations to get perspective of marriage. And for me, with that, at the risk of dry snitching, I'm going to say that that's not the best. Those are not the best representations for me. So when you try to attack me, I don't want to use, maybe the attack is a strong word, but when you try to comment on me about my feelings about marriage, I look at you and say, well, yours was pretty trash to me. So no, if that's the example of marriage, then no, I don't want to be married. I don't. Now, DeMario's is still in the writing because he just basically began, but at the same time, it's like you guys who talk back down on me about my feelings about marriage, you guys are very poor examples, extremely poor examples. So what I say is this, huh? Oh, you mean your 5-minute flash wedding? Your 5-minute flash wedding, the wedding that no one knew about. Now,
I don't want all
that. That's neither here nor there. Like, I believe that I believe that men are scared to be honest, like 100% honest with the women that we want to be with. I think what Hardy said in St. Martin is this marriage is about me and her, no one else opinions, no one else's traditionalism. This is a agreement between her and I. So whatever we decide to do within this construct It's our business and only should be judged by us. I think what happens so often is that we let other factors determine what we decide is marriage. We can't do that. We got to get with somebody, be completely transparent with them, and then we decide what we want our marriage to be. Because sometimes we let outside factors like traditionalism, for one, rule in our marriage. If we're not sleeping with the person, then they have no say so in our marriage. So, however we decide to do it, I got friends that want to have open marriages. And other people will look at that and say, "Well, that's not a marriage," but it's not.
Right.
But you're not involved in that marriage. Some people like to want to have the woman pay all the bills, and we look, "No, that's not a marriage. It's not your fucking business what they got going on." We have to stop putting our thoughts on someone else's relationship, especially when we're not involved in it. It's between two people, and two people. That's it. It's only them two.
Well, I would say that in my defense, Chris, when you look at retrospect and hindsight is 2020, I can look back on the things that I missed. Like if I could go back and address the problem, I see the problem that I had in my marriage. If I can go back, I would still be married because the approach was different. Whether let's be honest. Like you say, you didn't have a dad. My dad would walk by me and say, "What's up, dad?" Me and keep walking. We actually raised ourselves. We raised each other. You know, so that's an interesting point. But if I can go back, I see all the things that I did wrong on my side. Where when something happened, you might not have given it your whole effort to try to resolve. You know what I mean? Somebody, you go to this corner, I go to that corner. You guys don't resolve it. But I would say that marriage can be beneficial and it can be a great thing, but it's all about, again, like you said, what is your expectation in it? And why are you getting into it? Why are you getting married? Like Mario just got into it, but we already know Mario is going to go the long haul. He's just that type of guy. Now
well, we don't know that. We don't know that. Well, we know what his mindset into it.
We're going to speak that into existence, Chris.
Right, and I'm saying this. I went into this marriage saying, DeMario Hardy is going to do everything in my power to make this go the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that's all I can control.
And I did not do that. And I didn't do that.
See, and I didn't do that. So I didn't start looking. I don't look at her fault. I just keep looking at me. And another thing is, even when I decided to get married, it like Chris said, I both just did. What I wanted from marriage was not a woman to complete me. Was not a woman to financially help me. Was not. You know what I wanted? To build a foundation. Because I want the institution of black men. See, this is what I wanted. Me and her, we talked about this. I want to be a representation, though, of what our oppressors took from us a while ago. Like, I want other people who can't see it, because I didn't see a lot of successful black marriages just all around where I'm from, just floating around. So I want to be a representation of that. We might not be the richest. We might not have so-called the best marriage, but when people say, I know Mr. Mario and Ms. Jaleesa, they seem to figure it out. They raise their children. Like right now, me and my daughter, who I had previously before we got married, she understands this who we are. And as she embark on that, I know she's looking at us right now, trying to gain retrospect on, let me see how marriage works. Because me and her mom didn't give her a good example on what marriage is. You know what I'm saying? I take accountability of that. We failed. So I had to say, you know what, as a daddy, still, because I'm a daddy, I had to make sure that I understood, like, how do I help my kids not have to have their friends raise them and teach them about marriage? By me being an example of marriage. So you could come directly to me and say, well, daddy, how you, and it might not be right. It's still my perspective. But you can say, I seen you, these two people, make it. Fight for each other, build, have a communication. And I'm going to tell them the same thing, Chris. You got to get that for yourself. You have your own Social Security number. She has hers. Y'all got to get together and get that to yourself. Because even though I asked a lot of people about their marriage, I came to Jaleesa and said, bro, we're going to get married here. I'm going to invite all the people I love. If they come, they come. I'm so happy. If they don't, guess what? Rain or snow, hurricane or not, we're walking out there getting married, because this is about me and you and God. And once you keep that in your whole, to me, in your wedding, I don't believe nothing else can set you aside. Once you understand, like, cause it's not like we don't have arguments. It's not like that. I'm not nervous some days or happy some days and none of that. But I have to understand this: me, her, and God. And a lot of times, people ask a lot of people for advice who don't really know what's going left or right. Because if I can't give you advice, I'm gonna say I don't know. And I still call people for advice. But you know what I'm saying? You will take that and I pray on it, and then me, her, and but I don't ask too many people advice about my marriage.
Mario, that is so key. And this goes outside of that a little bit. I prayed a long time ago. I don't even say the prayer no more because it's dangerous. When you say that prayer where you say, God, anything that is not for me, not good for me, remove it, right? Every time I've said that prayer, my life, I've had chaos in my life, right? A lot of people, especially women, need to evaluate the damn friends that they have around them. Because I know some chicks that got some hating ass friends in their circle. I like they're there for them, but in reality, they really some hating ass friends that don't really want to see them get married before they do. So she might go to them and say, "Hey, what do you think about Chris?" And she gonna go in about Chris, not knowing that Chris already said, "I don't," you know what I mean? And curve, you might have curved this chick, right? Chicks gotta step up and start to kind of figure it out for themselves, man. Don't take so much stock in those friendships. A lot of women have a lot of hating ass friends that give them bad advice on purpose or throw rocks at a dude because they all competing to get married.
But Tootie, I don't blame the friends. Listen, if Jaleesa goes out and me and her stood at that altar and said it's me, you, and God. So if she takes upon herself to go out and ask her friend and bring her friend in, then whatever comes with that, you brought it in. So I don't, because that friend just telling you her perspective. She not wrong. She might feel like I'm a piece of shit. That's how she feels. So if Jaleesa go ask her, hey, Mario doing this and this, well, I think Mario a piece of shit. That's how she feels. Now, if Jaleesa take heed of that and bring it back and start treating me like a piece of shit, then she can't blame nobody on our marriage failing but her. Because from the beginning, I said, it's me, you, and God. So you got a problem with me, you need to go to God, not your friends. And I don't blame the friends. Right now, I'm never going to hate on none of her friends because right now, you and Chris, I always tell people like this. And Chris know this. I'm friends with his baby mom. Tootie, I'm friends with a couple of y'all, but I always know.
What the fuck you mean a couple?
Tootie is my friend. Like, that's whose side I'm on. So you're never going to get me to go against them. I'm gonna always be looking out for Chris and Tootie's best interest. That's as they should be looking out for their friend's best interest. They're not gonna be looking out for our best interest. So when you bring somebody in who only gonna see your side, you the one fucking up, not them. So I don't even blame that hating ass friend. I'm gonna blame her because you brought somebody else into our union that you said it was me, you, and God.
Well, hey, I want to acknowledge one of our viewers, hating ass Norman, who has not came online. Talking about my house look like the Motel 6 lobby. I bet you'll never be there.
Shout out Nasty Norm.
Nasty Norm will never be invited over. Stay out there in the country, hating ass Negro. But listen, that happens a lot though, man. You do. I see where chicks let that in, men and women. Once you let people get inside your relationship, man, it's doomed. Still, I don't know where Xavier at one job.
Well, hey, again, I
was about to say. Now we're talking about the love from the love doctor, and I'm trying to figure out a good word for Mario. Because Mario is just, I can't say Bill Cosby. I can't say Bill Cosby. Bill ruined that good wholesome image that he once had. Listen,
how's it Orlando?
Oh yeah. Well, now it's amazing. We see each other different. So when I describe y'all, I say Chris, my brother, crass. He is a little more crass than I am. You know what I mean? Then I explain Mario as the wise brother, the mediator of the group. The good brother. Now, Chris, how would you explain me, Hardy, and Xavier?
Where you want me to start?
Nigga, explain.
Who you want me to start with?
Anybody.
Start with? Okay. Let's start with Hardy. I would explain Hardy as the transformation king. I say it like that because I would have to say like 5 different Hardys in my life. And it's been, this has been a short period of time, but I've seen 5 different Hardys. I've seen the adolescent Hardy that's a knucklehead that dropped out of school that don't want to do, just a knucklehead. I seen a Hardy that went on and dropped out of school, but then now he's struggling to try to be the pressures of being a father is hitting him. So he's trying to learn how to. He's way measuring fatherhood and adulthood together. So he had to. I watched that transition. I watched the transition of working hard to the fact of I want to build stability through work and just discipline through that. Then I watched the grown man heart, and I'm watching the marriage heart. So I would call him the transition king. If I was going to talk about Zay, I would talk about Zay is the friend that we hate on, but we want to be. Zay always have the ability to keep a smile on his face and do things, and we have no idea how it's getting done. He's the Tommy of the group. Tommy always had some women. Tommy always dressed fly, and he was always smiling, and he always found a way to look good. So however he's getting it done, he's getting it done. So we can sit here and crack jokes, but in all honesty, we would like to be like that. A lot of us don't want to be working, and a lot of us don't want to do the things that we're doing. We do it for a reason, but a lot of us don't want to do that. And Zay is one of the friends that then said, I'm possibly not going to do that, but I'm going to still enjoy life to the fullest. We had a Hardy can attest this. We had a friend like that before named G Rider that was able to really enjoy life, and I take that trait better than anything else. The ability to truly enjoy life in all situations. So that's what I contest today. What I contest to you is what I would say is this. Coming up, you've always been a person that you can say that, hey, okay, well, he's one step ahead. When we was young, it was like this is the guy that I don't know if this should be saying this, but this is the guy that dealt in narcotics and had a bubble Chevy with glass lights in it. Now, true enough, everybody think that those glass lights sucked, but you was able to do that. You was able to do that. So you're a step ahead of us. Then after that, you become a father, and you had to deal with the child support, the different baby mama situations and stuff like that. So we could look at you and say, okay, well, damn, he's dealing with this 4 or 5 years before. So you gave us a somewhat of a blueprint how to navigate those things. Then after that, we're not gonna count for the failed marriage, the travishing mockery of your marriage. So we're not even gonna go with that. But then we start to see that you dealing with politics and dealing with community activism and community service and stuff like that. And that's what, and like I said, you're always maybe like 5 years ahead of us, and that's what we need to be getting into. We need to have a high knowledge of politics. We need to have a high knowledge of civil service, and that's the type of thing that you was doing. Like some people was a joke when you was running for city council, but I thought that was one of the most inspirational things in the world because you can't think of now time when you was growing up, somebody said you could do that. No one ever told you to do that. People will tell you that you can be an NBA or NFL star before they can tell you to be city council. And city council is a lot easier attainable than being a fucking NBA star or being in the NBA. So for you to set that blueprint for us to look at, once we become adults and become knowledgeable, we need to start saying, okay, that's something that we kind of need to be looking at. And I also want to go back before when I was in music. One of the first people that recognized my talent was you. You might have forgot that, but one of the first people that recognized my talent was you and offered me a contract in the situation that you was in a long time ago. One of the first people, I think Hardy was probably the one that gave you my music, and then you was one of the ones that reached out, because when we was young, I didn't live over there, so it wasn't like we was friends. It was just like, oh, you my brother's friend. So for you to reach out to do stuff like that, that I never forgot that. So when but you don't even know this, boo. So when your son hit me up about his music, I was telling him that, look, I'm out of the music game, but whatever advice I can give you and whatever direction I can give you, you can hit me up and I'll talk to you all day. He don't know this, but I do that because your father was one of the first people to really acknowledge my talent. So I've always had a appreciation for you just for that. I might have never said that to you, but at the end of the day, that's how I feel. So if I had to describe you in a nutshell, you're always 5-6 years ahead of us. And I would like, if I would use one word, I would say visionary.
Well, I appreciate that, bro.
That's
Hardy, your turn.
Yeah. So I start with Zay since he ain't here. I agree somewhat with Chris said. Like Zay is the person that no matter what, Zay's the only person I know that can be loyal to you, but put you in a whole bunch of different situations around a whole bunch of different places, and everybody seems to love Zay. Like Zay is loved on every app. Every time I bring him around people, meet people, he's just the most loving person in the world. That is the hardest to describe, or a person in the world at the same time. Like, oh, Zay, what do you do? Well, he do. You know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, though, I know he might be late, but if I call him, he gonna come, or he gonna do his best to do whatever I need him to do, or to try to facilitate it at least. Might be a little late, but I can count on Zay to be Zay for who I need him to be. You know what I'm saying? I over the years I've learned that right there. Tootie, I remember. It's almost kind of like what Chris said. I remember growing up, we first moved over there. He used to come down, and I don't think you probably remember this too, but he was like, hey, man, everything okay? And we had some talks, and I remember I was like, damn, man, you cool as hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was like, yeah, why you didn't think so? Then the reason was neither here nor there, but I was like, damn, and from that day forth, I think the next year I had a baby, and you was already a father, and you heard about it. So you was like, man, don't worry about that. Then I remember many nights you coming out there just telling me, don't worry about it. I'm going through this. And I remember the first time I got put on child support, you're like, man, that ain't the end of the world. That's how it's going to be. It's just steady walking through. And then, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you give me advice, I wouldn't listen. Or I told you then this or this, or don't do this. And you're right. You seen, because you were older, that this was going to crumble. And a lot of times try to push you away, or don't go over here, or don't hang with them. They're going to send you here. Or you headed for destruction. You know what I'm saying? It's always like that. Even when I moved to Atlanta. As soon as I moved to Atlanta, you called people up here who you knew and was like, hey, man, this is my boy. When I was in Orlando, you came up to Orlando, drove up, spent the weekend, stuff like that. You didn't say you wasn't going to come, but I think it's not a place I've stayed that you probably didn't visit at some point over and over and over. You know what I'm saying? Just to say, man, I just want to make sure that you straight. You know what I'm saying? Because I do believe that anybody who came in your circle who you genuinely cared about, you continuously treated them like family. I could say that. Chris,
Hardy, you went out. Chris, Mario.
I know in passing, like, oh, Chris, what's up, man? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because me and Mario was real close. Then me and Mario take a weekend just living out here on the lot, headed to destruction, and go to Orlando and never look back. And then this man like, well, you cool, you can stay. And I remember this, and I'm gonna tell it because I don't care. The first weekend I ever went to Orlando, I walk in this man's house, and he got 4 girls there. I was in Orlando 10 minutes and jumping up and down in the bed. I said, I'm never leaving Orlando, bitch. Count me in. I said, what the hell is going on here?
Orlando Chris was a beast.
And then, even then, it was Rail, him, Enrique, and all the people I met. And I was like, man, you know, and then coming from the city where we from, you kind of standoffish on meeting new people. And, you know, people different and people weird and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of looked at Chris like a big brother. Cause I started seeing him and the way because I knew he had the same morals and he stood on the same thing I stood on. So I started seeing him navigate. I'm like, well, shit, okay. If he is this, he is this, and he is this, is he and this. And I also understood that what made me respect Chris another level is this. It wasn't too often that people gave me the acknowledgement of taking my advice and really using it. But I was like, damn, Chris, I respect you. But then at some point, he'll come and say, hey, so how does work? And I was like, damn, he asking me. And then it made me like kind of have a voice more, you know what I'm saying? And he'll put me on spots to be like, no, I'll do this. And it never changed. Like all my life, like it never changed. Anytime I wanted there, because he right. At that point in my life, I was all over the place. I was a father, not knowing when, trying to go back to school, just doing this and all this kind of stuff like that. And then Mario had said, I'm out, bro, and went back to Palm Beach. And then so now I'm up here with Chris and his friends, and you would have thought he had two little brothers named Mario, because that's how I was treated the whole time. I'm talking about from wearing clothes to driving cars to patching up on rent to like even when I couldn't pay mine, him standing up for me, you know what I'm saying? It's always been like that constant, like shit, we in it together. And I think that kind of symbolizes us. I'll put Norman there too, because Norman been around all the time too, doing the same thing. I'm talking about I remember growing up on our street, it was just like we moved over there. I'm talking about it was instantly like a brotherhood. Like I remember Norman walking down there every morning. I remember, God forbid, when Norman had a bad accident one time, and all of us was on the street. And at this point of our life, we didn't even understood. We didn't understand. I don't think the power of God, because when we looked at Norman in that point of time right there, it was like I never thought in my life that he was ever coming back to be the Norman that the world know right now. I never figured that in my life. My grandma was still living. I remember when Norman got to the hospital, and Norman used to walk down there to my mama's house every morning and talk to my grandma. And she'd let him in the house, and they'll sit there and talk like normal. And then he came out of it, and then he just always been around. Like Norman came and stayed with me in Orlando. And that's another thing, because I was the youngest out of y'all. So he came in and took over my goddamn apartment. You know what I'm saying? And then and start, nah, I love you, so we're gonna do it this way and this way. Even down to us having brawls and doing all that kind of stuff like that. It's always been there. And through ups or downs, I could say at any point in my life, all of y'all have always been there and had my back. Now, it don't matter if we disagree. It don't matter if we was on the same page or these two was on the same page. Even when I don't agree with y'all, I think a lot of times y'all still listen to me, and sometimes y'all don't want to hear the shit I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate y'all, because I thought that was normal, and that's a good thing. I thought having real good friends was normal. In my life, I've been blessed to have real good friends, and they so close, I call them brothers. And it seemed like God kept continuously putting good people in my life along the way, to the point when I started meeting people who was fucked up, I was like, man, that's crazy. And then I'm talking to people, and they're like, yeah, that's life. But that wasn't my life. I had a lot of good ass people in my life, and still do. And you could tell, like you saying about my wedding, not to burn this out. When I looked at my wedding and I think about it, I was like, man, this is amazing. Like these people, when I look down the line, have all really did and played so much into me becoming, whether y'all know it or not, who I am. Because at some point I was going to fuck up, and y'all helped me and said, nah, bro, do it this way. Nah, bro, do it this way. Nah, bro, do it this way. Because none of us, cause I didn't have a daddy that was there physically. He might have gave money here and there. But I'm talking about learning how to be a man, black man in America, which is hard to navigate. I appreciate y'all for that. For me to describe all of y'all in one, that's how I would do it.
Yeah, we raise each other. Now, listen, before we close out, bro, I'm going to tell you what happened yesterday. I was down in Miami. I had a wonderful time in Miami. My mom called. You know how the bishop is. She probably FedEx. She say, you know, what you doing? I said, well, I'm in Miami. She said, you're going to be gone by this time. I said, well, you know, she's like, the protest, I forgot about it because I was enjoying my time down there. And, bro, I left, bent this corner, came around this corner, and I'd be damned if I don't see these Negroes running down the street like this right here. And I'm talking about I was a half block from being caught in Planet of the Apes type scenarios. So and they shut the 95 down. It turned bad last night, man. But tomorrow I'm going to be doing a podcast, and then Wednesday I'm doing another podcast. George Floyd is what I want to get y'all thoughts on before we close out. But it's rhetorical because you can say Sandra Bland, Trayvon Martin, Philip Castile. This thing has gotten to the point where I do want to say that cabin fever is added to the fire, right? A lot of motherfuckers out here looting because they just tired of being in the house. They unemployed, they broke, they're frustrated. Their normalcy has been disrupted. So a lot of people out there looting. Hell, part of that's COVID-19. But I didn't get y'all thoughts on it, man, because when I was on a thread with Roland Martin the other day. I first seen the video, it drew me in, and for someone to step on your neck for 9 minutes and put his hand in your pocket and whatnot, I said right back then, I said that's intentional. I said they got to know each other for you to take a man that's on his stomach, handcuffed, and kneel on his neck, really on his cerebellum, for 9 damn minutes. That's intentional, man. And if it wasn't for that little girl actually filming and being right there where you can zoom in and see this man's life aspire, it would have been another day in America. But I do say, in that same sense, like my friend said, when are you going to be? All these people go to church and they talk about heaven and death, heaven is the reward, right? But we become so cowardice, man, that we will record everything. 20 people recorded this man dying. I'm going to tell you honestly, God, deal with me if I'm lying. I would have had to take that charge. There's no way I'm going to watch a man aspire in front of me. I might have got shot. I might have got beat like a pinata. But there's no way I can watch this man for 9 minutes perspire to the point where he defecate and nose bleeding and the man losing bodily fluids in front of me. Our generation is effed up where we like to film stuff, but we don't have the courage to do stuff. We're going to do this T-shirt. We're going to do the hashtags. We're going to put the picture, I stand with George Floyd. But really, what are we going to do? And what are we going to do that's impactful? Because we keep doing the same things over and over, and that shit is not working. So I had to ask y'all thoughts on George Floyd because it just gets me emotional, man.
Well, what I would say is this. It's tough for me because although the situation is bad, but I think the way, like the piggyback of what you said, like it's a show that we don't have our nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like what was troubling to me is after that people were saying something about the female that was recording should have done something. I totally disagree with that. That goes back to the people that think that manhood is in your wallet. That manhood is in your nuts and your heart. Besides that, so to think that to go after a female for that she didn't do anything, I think that's completely wrong. What you said is yes, we as men should have done something like that. Look, if you go over there and push the officer off the dude, yes, you're gonna get a charge. Yeah, you might get hit, but that dude lived. I take a similar. I compare that to the reason why when people talk to me about Kevin Durant and my disdain for him, not as a man, but as a basketball player. I remember when Kevin one game, Metal World Peace, Ron Artest came down, made a layup, beating his chest, and then elbowed the shit out of James Harden. Walked right by Kevin Durant, beating his chest, and Kevin Durant didn't say a word. Now, if you're on my team and I'm playing with you, you're my brother, you have to do something. I teach my little daughter to say, hey, that's not nice. At least that. But the first action that Kevin Durant did was to go over to Russell Westbrook and hold him. Now, I'm not saying that Russell Westbrook was about to do something, but at least he's fussing to Metal World Peace about what he did to his homeboy. So I think if we take anything from that is this. Let's stop these, because that image is going to be plastered over us. That's the same image that we see about lynching. That's the same image that we see about the hoses being ran on us. That image is going to be plastered. So that I got to think to myself that 20 years later, this is an image that my daughter is going to see. And the reason why she's going to see that is simply because no one wanted to step in and to at least push the officer, because it can even inconvenience you a day or two in jail. Now, besides that, we have to understand that this is a system. The only way to break this system is through economics, not through anything else, looting and all that. That brings awareness. So I don't talk about people that's rioting, because it brings awareness. But what I say to break the system is through economics. We do not have to agree about everything, but what we have to agree about is where do we spend our money. And once we spend our money within ourselves, it makes them have to respect us in a whole different light. Because he has to know then that the powers that be, once they see that and we stop spending our money there, it affects them economically. So now when the officer does some stuff like that, he knows the pressure of the people that make it, the higher ups and the people that making decisions in this world is going to come down on them, because it's bad for business. It is completely bad for business. So with that being said, I think that, again, I preach that we need to, as men, especially black men, we need to have nuts. We need to continue heart and bravery when in the face of all this, in the face of our women, in the face of our community, in the face of our everything. We need to show more nuts and heart. That's what I got.
I think that's a good question. I think both of y'all had some good points, and I think that's a deep question too, because I'm not going to talk about the systemic part of it, because that just goes too deep. And I agree with the economic point to an extent, but I think everything we're seeing right now comes from perception of how we see each other. Like right now, if I was to ask Chris or Tootie, who got brothers, if you see your brother on the ground, you're gonna say, yeah, I'll run over there and push him. And most black Americans gonna say, yeah, they knew the guy, if they did. But right now, it should be just a regular black man on the street, and you should feel like that's your brother. I think that's gone in the neighborhoods. In the first marches, that's how we felt as a people. Like, it don't matter if I don't know this dude's name. He's the same color as me, and that make him my brother. Right now, we don't see that. Because you're right. Most people will tell you if there was a person who they love or who they knew, they would have took the bullet or took the push or took the punishment. But because most of the people standing around George didn't know him, it was like, man, that's fucked up, man, how they doing that black man. No, that's your brother. You don't have to know his name to understand. That's your brother. That could be you. I think that connection right now is going in the black community. Because I believe a lot of us got nuts for stuff that we care about. And that's that selfishness that I think that's been embedded in our community, that we don't look at each other as a whole as brothers. Like, me looking at that video, I looked at my son and was like, damn, I can't be here for him his whole life. So at some point, I'm going to need somebody else out there who might not know my son to give a damn about him. I'm going to need somebody who don't know my son, who I never went to a football game with, who I never did nothing to, who don't know none of y'all. So that if my son is getting beat up on the sidewalk, I'm going to need some random black man to give a fuck about him. Or me, or you. Because we might not always be there. And I think in that point right there, you're right. The woman should never, I hated that so much. They talking about, she just did, and that's a fucking woman. I was so mad at that. That's a woman. She did what she supposed to do. If I'm fighting, I never want my woman to jump in. I never want her to jump in. You never help me. I tell her that from day one. If I'm fighting, you never help me. Let me take what I'm going to get. You don't help me. I don't need you beat up. She videotaped. Thank God for that. It's men. It's grown men. Men. I ain't talking about no little boys. I'm talking about 30-plus-year-old men, 25 and older men standing up with their phones out, watching a man lose his life. That's the same color as them. When knowing all it takes is the situation, and then they would have been asking for help too. And to sit there and see a grown man of that stature call for his mom, and y'all sit there, man, nuts ain't the word. I don't think we have no heart. And this heart for each other, for self, everybody just selfish, bro, because everybody just think about it. And that comes economically too. Right now, if a black person got a shirt for $11, you don't understand the worth in spending that, and then anybody else got the shirt for $8. Them $3 means so much more to him than it ever would to them. So you spending that $8 would with them. But we don't understand that because you know what? Once again, we don't have no heart for a man who we don't really have a connection to, and we don't have no love for nobody else. All we think about is us. How can we get over? How does this affect me? How does this affect my family? How does me? And that right there, an entitlement, I think is what's killing us as a race. Period. Because even when we build somebody up, just the last point I'll make, when you talk about Tootie running for office, I was happy because I personally know Tootie. And politicians show you one face and they show you another face. But one thing I know is what he stands for. So for me to see somebody who I know what they stand for, who I can pick up the phone and call and hold him accountable for the city that I grew up in, that was a breath of fresh air. That's why I went into it, because I know so many times we have so many people who have a disconnect to the city. You can't be the person who we counting on and you don't have no connection to us. You need to feel us just like we feel you. Like you need to be out here more than when somebody get their knee on their neck. You need to be out there telling the officer, stop talking to somebody like that when they pull them over. That's a grown man. You don't have to just call me, respect me. Like if I'm a grown taxpaying citizen, you don't have to pull me over in the car and say, boy, where's your license? That's where it started. Because it didn't start at the neck. This cop was probably disrespecting me in all his duty.
He has a history.
Over and over and over. Then his courage just kept building and building and building. And his hatred just kept flourishing. Because nobody was saying nothing when he first slammed the guy on the ground. Nobody said nothing. When he first called a grown man a boy, nobody said nothing. When he first did this, nobody said nothing to nothing. But then when a man, we wait all the way till a man has lost his life and now lock him up. Well, I suspend his ass when the first time he do it. That's cut his check the first time he do some disrespectful shit. And that goes for every other cop that's standing up, because those are the pawns of it all. We understand that you can't stop everything, but you are in control of what you can do. Because the worst thing they can do, this to all black police officers, the worst thing they can do to you is fire you. You can go get another job. I cannot take this skin off. If you don't like the way police officers are doing, you can say, you know what? I don't want to be a police officer no more. So this job too hard, it's too reckless. You don't understand how a police job. You're right. I don't understand how a police officer is because I didn't want to be a police officer because I understood it may be too hard for me. So I didn't do it. I didn't sign a contract to say I'm going to be a police officer. And then whine about it. And whine about how hard it is. I don't go to construction worker and complain about how hot the sun is. You signed up for that. Nobody made you become a police officer. That's your job. You can quit that job. I can't, no matter how much money I get, no matter how polite I am, I can still drive my car with this skin that God gave me, I had no control over, and get shot or killed in the street. And that part right there, that disparity right there is the reason why I just don't understand this whole situation. I think we're going to keep going through that until we get back to the root thing of community and heart.
Well, listen, to your point, when I on 34, I took a different journey. When I took my cable off, man, I went on this search for knowledge. Well, sitting in the living room, man, we had some real deep brainstorms and conversations. We are so indoctrinated where the stuff we've taught is part of a system. Like everybody always think Martin Luther King was killed for the dream he had. But the reality was he didn't die until a couple of years later, and he didn't get killed because of the dream. He got killed because he shut down the economy in Memphis. He shut down the economy. Second of all, we don't have the courage or the nuts that our ancestors had. Those people, instead of taking a bus one to go to work in the morning, them people walked and went to work late that have cut their pay. They walked an hour together in groups to their jobs, and they walked home in the afternoon for a year and some change, just enough to support the cause. We can't support anything. My son asked me, how do we feel about the looting? I can't understand it because it's displaced anger. You know what I mean? The issue is in Minnesota. I can see us coming together to symbolize and protest, but you looting the same places that apparently the $1 trillion that black people have in spending power, as soon as they rebuild it, y'all gonna be in there. I seen a girl looting. She came out of the store with a Gucci outfit on. Is Gucci more than our advancement as people? So, yes, we, like Chris said, it's all about the money. We $1 trillion in spending power, and we don't understand that. The majority of African Americans vote Democrat, no matter who it is. You don't research who the character is. If there was no thing as Democrats, Republicans, you would have to take time to see who that person is before you just go in the box and say Democrat, Democrat, or Republican, Republican. When the last time you actually research who that character is? Because nobody has stood in the paint for black people, and we give that vote away freely. No matter if you're Republican or Democrat, that shit has not moved at all. And if you worried about Trump or Biden, I can honestly tell you, shit ain't gonna change. I've gotten a lot of opportunities this year, but shit is not changing because we give it away. Police situation, again, brother. I ain't gonna say I got teary-eyed. I just could not understand that nobody helped this brother. There's 20 people there, and nobody will go and at least try to get this man off this man's neck. That probably broke me more than anything, because I just can't comprehend that we don't have enough courage, enough nuts to fight back. You know, hell, that's what it takes. So when my son say, "How y'all feel about the looting?" What are my thoughts, man? Because I'll go on for hours. How y'all feel about the looting?
How do I feel about the looting?
Yeah.
I feel like if it's to bring awareness to the situation, I don't mind it being anywhere. I think it's counterproductive to do it in black establishments. I personally think that's counterproductive. If you're looting simply to bring awareness to what's going on and to show your frustration and disapproval of the way the judicial system treats us, then I am completely for it. Because if we do research on our history, when this country was built, Europe was bringing in tea. What the people in America said, "Fuck your tea. I'm gonna throw this shit in the Boston Harbor, and you lose money from this." That was the inspiration of America. So when we try to look at us as bad for looting, this is how the America started. So I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with if that's a known black establishment and then you're looting there, then I think it's something wrong. I think it's something wrong when Target is burnt down and not police stations are burnt down. If that's what your focus is, police stations, well, let's do something there. Let's do something. Let's bring it there, because what we know is most of the essential workers, a higher percentage of the essential workers were black. So when you burn down that Target that has a high percentage of black people working there, that means them black people are going to be out of a job. Chances great Target is not going to pay them while the place is burnt down. So now you make that black person lose economics in that way. I believe that let's take this anger and place it in the right direction. I can't tell you. That's like me punching you, just like me punching you in your face and telling you how to react to it. I can't tell you not to loot. I can't say that. But what I can say is, are you looting to bring awareness to the injustices? But if you are looting to bring awareness to the injustices, now I can tell you to dictate that and do it somewhere else. But if you're just looting to loot, you're just being a fucking dickhead.
Well, I got 3 points on that, and both of y'all made 3 points. So I got three they're gonna be contradictory too, because I'm here in Atlanta, right? So I see a lot of looting and stuff going on, right? So first of all, I want to say this: Atlanta has a lot of black stuff, right? Black-owned stuff, right? But it's not a black city. Let's get that straight. Let's get that straight now. When I go down the street, and most of 10th Street is white-owned businesses. So let's get that straight. What the main part of what they're looting at, 95% of that stuff is not black-owned. So let's get that straight. That's one. So when they show 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 buildings that's black-owned that get destroyed, I wish they had said they had some kind of sign to say skip this building. But in the heat of the moment, it wasn't. They was knocking out all windows in this row. You was a black person who owned a building in this row, casualty to just like in the war. Good people die all the time in war. But you still say you win the war. You don't count every death in a war because it's a war. That's one feeling I get from seeing that. Because I see that perpetuation like, oh, you burning down Atlanta. No, a lot of Atlanta's still racist as fuck. I stay here every day. It's still a lot of establishments in the middle of Atlanta with all this blackness going on that still don't want to look at you like that. A lot of time in Atlanta, they do respect the gay people a lot way more up here than they do us. So a lot of shit they tearing up right now, like them going into the Lenox Mall, when you getting harassed in there all the time, they don't want you on Buckhead except for to get your ass to the mall, spend your money, and get the hell out of Buckhead. When they start tearing up half of Buckhead, hey, you know what they say? I like in Malcolm X, I'm not gonna be mad when the chickens come home to roost. Like, so okay, like, hey, is it fucked up? Yes. Do I care? No, because I'm never gonna be more outraged about the action than the reaction than the action. The action that started this is you put your fucking knee on this man's neck. We're tired of seeing that. All you had to do is arrest these thugs, and none of this happened. So now it's a cause and effect. Because you didn't do this, guess what you paved the way for? You're right. Greedy people who don't have nothing to do with the protest. Because most of these people who looting have nothing to do with the protest. They just want free shit. It's Gucci, it's Louis. They shit $800 just my one time in life to get me a goddamn Gucci bag that people give me so much clout for. So go breaking these people shit that have insurance and is going to get their shit redone. I feel for the black people who got caught up into it. Yes, that is fucked up. And I understand how hard it is for them to get loans and to rebuild. That is fucked up. But when people saying, oh man, it's fucked up about Target, oh, that's fucked up about Gucci, check this out. Do you know right now, I go to management meetings, this first quarter in sales, every company is down. Except for like online companies like Amazon and all that. So let's just say you down in sales this first quarter, and then you get a fat ass insurance check to recoup all your down sales. You won.
Bingo.
So I'm not gonna cry that Gucci had his windows broke out and they stole some fucking purse that you overcharged and enslaved our people for anyway. I'm sorry. I just can't feel sorry for that because I don't give a damn about that. Because at this point right now, y'all had every opportunity and every tool to stop this from happening. You can't walk by a gate, kick the gate every day, spit on the dog, throw shit at the dog. Then when the gate go open and the dog bite, just two random people walking down the street say, "Why would that dog do that?" Well, the gate open, and that's what's fucked up. And it's sad though because and the third thing I gotta say about that is this: in the civil rights movement, people always say, "Well, you know, they did this and did this," but they had multiple leaders. They didn't just have Killer Mike and T.I. They had like grassroots ground leaders.
Stokely,
Kyle, we have a whole bunch of kids. These are kids who don't even fucking listen to T.I. or Killer Mike. They listen to Young Thug and Lil Baby. So now you're telling people who 19 and 20 to listen to a motherfucker who older than me about because what they used to do. Bitch, T.I. ain't been in the trap in 50 years. So when he stand his ass up there and say, Atlanta, calm down. Fuck you, old head. Just the same thing as me. When I go talk to a 19 or 20-year-old, nigga, I'm old nigga. That's who I am right now. I'm old man. So right now, to get and reach those people, we definitely need younger voices that give a damn, and we need younger millionaires or role models to stand up. Right now, Lil Baby, but they don't understand because they haven't been led right. Because it's a disconnect with that too. The same thing. If Chris don't talk to Tyler, then Tyler gonna fuck up. That's the disconnect. Right now, if this same thing happened in Orlando and Tyler a big artist, Chris has the cachet with Tyler to say, nephew, you got to get up there and talk. The kids listen to you. But they don't. They brought Killer Mike, who I respect. I love Killer Mike and everything he's doing. And T.I., I respect what he's doing. But to a 19-year-old and 20-year-old, they don't give a damn. They're not even listening to your music. They listen to Uzi and all them. But them the people right now who going to have to calm this city down. Because it's not, I'm not saying there's not a lot, but it's not a lot. I mean, it's not none. It's not a lot of 50-year-old men out there busting in a Gucci damn store. Them kids, them young adults who just greedy. Them the same ones who probably going to break in your car too. And breaking your house too. So them, if you want me to try to talk sense to a motherfucker who steal all the time, they gonna do what they gonna do. The point is, I would be more willing to stop them if you would be more willing to stop killing us. That's all I gotta say.
Exactly. Say that one more time, please. Please say that one more time.
Yeah, I would be more willing to ridicule and stop them if y'all would be more willing to stop killing us. Cause George was my age. So when these kids out here who don't have a voice go out here and break up some windows and burn down some stoves to protect our coward ass, shit, it's hard for me to say, hey, y'all need to stop and da 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 da. But we're not giving them no example on how to stop this shit from the right way. So it's hard for me to talk, even though it's wrong. It's hard for me to just reprimand them when y'all are not getting reprimanded. Fuck that. Stop killing us, and then I'll talk to them about stop breaking into shit. How about that?
Sure.
I'll tell you what. Listen, fellas, the Super Friends show was missing some characters today. And I want to let y'all know you're already we're going on 2 hours. My intent was to bring y'all along, and minus a few characters. I see Hardy got on the Hardy shirt, the Hardy Incorporation. So I know at some point, I pulled you away from a busy day of money making, and then we got Zine Chris. Do y'all know that we business owners, man? I'm from 30th Street, man, which we can't tell people apart. We all successful now. We all business owners. Did y'all see? Did y'all really picture us where we at now?
We couldn't have. We couldn't have. No. But the thing about it is, we were always being able to be visionaries. Because the same thing that we're doing now is the same thing they was doing then. It's just in a legal and different way. So we can say we didn't picture it, but we was always doing that. Hardy was always able to, let me see if I can find a car and flip it and resell it. Tudor, you know what you was doing back in the day. I don't want to, put it out there, but you know what you was doing back in the day. So you was always an entrepreneur. You always ran a business. You was always employing different black men. So I say. So this is not something that we may not have seen this, but this is something that we've been doing since we was young. And the last thing I want to say is, if you got the book, I got the truck. We pick up in a pickup. Call King Services.
Well, yeah, that was a shameless plug, but
you gotta tell them where you at.
Where you at, Chris?
I'm in Orlando, and if you need anything, any small moves, think of me as the Uber Eats for stuff. Basically, you give me a call, $10 deposit, $25 for the pickup, $1 per mile from the pickup and the drop-off destination. Call King Services. If you got the book, I got the truck. We pick up in a pickup.
All right, man. I'm excited because Hardy gonna bring up the rear. Me and Hardy have been working on buying this thing hotel in Atlanta, and then COVID has kicked in. But I'm just happy that, man, to see us where we are now, and to know I got brothers that I really want to see us all again. I don't even know how not to, man. But Hardy, please explain to the people of your company, because you in Atlanta and I can't come home because y'all acting a fool.
I got a home inspection business, and the reason why I got into this because I had a background in construction, and I seen how most times when you get a home inspector, it don't be a guy of color. It actually be an older guy who have in his retirement time, and he had construction. And I say, well, dang, how much do they really care about people of color? Biggest investment that they're gonna make in their life, because one of the biggest investments you can make in your life is buying property. So to have somebody out who really care, who understand what it took for you to get that loan, who understand what it took for you to save up your deposit, your down payment, to understand what it took for you to put up that earnest money, and to come in and check your property out of any sort and give it a thorough checklist, then call Hardy Home Inspections and Consulting. And not only do I do home inspections, but I can come out and consult on new builds and on any kind of project that you want to do restoration on, that you have had rework homes, anything like that. Just understand that I understand if buying a house and having somebody come look at it and they're giving you a shabby job or missing stuff, and then you buy an investment, and then now you got to put another couple thousand into some stuff that you could have had the person who was selling the house put into you. We get this done to us over and over and over because, truth be told, most people who buy a house didn't come from a generation of homeowners. So it was no one there to teach us this process. So I don't take it lightly when I go into somebody's house and then understand that I'm here to do a good job, not only for you, but for the generation behind you, because buying property is creating generational wealth. So if you know anybody in the metro Atlanta or surrounding areas, then tell them they can call me at 404-798-7045. That's 404-798-7045. You can call or text. If I don't answer, just leave a message and I'll get back to you. And I have a 24-hour turnaround on all finished reports. Appreciate that.
One thing I want to shout out Lil Kevin because they keep on. I should call him Lil Kevin. He keep on coming. Kevin, I remember you rapping for me. You and Jeff rapping for me in my yard, man. And I love the progress that I've seen from you. I love when you were doing the Thousand-Air game. I just want to send a big shout out to you, my brother. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I was about to say, Kevin. I mean, I see Eunice, I see Kevin, I see Issa, who does mental health in Riviera Beach. I see Mika. Man, I see so many people that we grew up with, man, doing big things now. Hell, Kev just threw a networking event probably like a couple months ago before COVID, and that thing was jam-packed, man. So all of us was on one street, and to see where we at now, man, I could look back, and I think that's what kind of made me kind of lame, is that I'm just so thankful because I didn't really think I was going to make it this far. I really didn't. You know, we had some rough times. So to make it to our age, man, you know, we had some rough years in the raw. And now we got kids that are, going to college, going there on their journeys, man. I think that's interesting, man. But I said all to say, we're going to have another Super Friends show with some of the cast, Xavier, Norman. We see we can bring on Jay. Jay gonna act right. But it's more to the group, man. But I really want to. There's 100 podcasts out now, but how many people are authentic and just saying real stuff? A lot of people are just coming on and doing these shows and kind of like, people ain't really feeling it, man. So I don't know what happened to Chris, but we almost going on 2 hours. The next show we'll have it set up right. It'll be amazing. It'll be an hour. It'll be an hour for show, and we'll have a topic, man. But to see the people and to say how we supporting each other, people say what they want about the Trump era. It's made a lot of people get entrepreneurial minded. It's made a lot of people chase their dreams and their purpose more, and it's gotten people to get up off their couch and say what I want to do with my life. Like I say, Issa does mental health. Issa could easily been doing anything else, but to see her doing stuff in our community, in our schools with these kids, nobody ever talks about, mental health. Kev is talking about, business where he bringing people together. There's people on that same list that are doing stuff that is impactful to our community. So, we'll shout them out, but I want to thank y'all boys for coming on this morning and just being the friends that I've known for 30 years, So I don't know where the hell Chris went, man. Huh?
He probably had to go. I appreciate the opportunity. And then I'm gonna say one thing. Send to some topics that y'all like us to talk on, and I'm pretty sure that we're gonna be as real as we could be. You know what I'm saying? That the airways will allow us to be.
Yeah. Chris, in his closing comments, we're not signing off.
I can't hear a thing.
Okay, well, I was saying for closing comments. Well, reporting live from my lair. I will check with all y'all later, man. So thank y'all for joining me. Y'all too, stay tuned. All right?
All right.